if you look at what freedom is, everybody say, they chasing a bag. And then when you ask them why they chasing the bag, they say to take care of my family. You ask them what is the value of taking care of the family, they're going to say, well, I got to pay bills. So then you ask them what these bills is. The first thing they say is water. Well, if you can, hustle up some money and have somebody dig a well in your backyard, guess what you don't have? A water bill. If you grow your own food, you ain't got to go to the grocery store no more, so you can't talk about buying food. If you install solar panels on your house and you realize how free energy work, you don't have to pay electrical bill. If everything is electric, then you don't need to do gas. If you build your house and buy your own land, then you don't have a mortgage. That is true sovereignty right there. So I think that's the new education and the new curriculum that we need to start teaching our people, is to own everything. And the way you own everything is you just get your own land. Once you get your own land, you build and you sustain yourself on that land. So we just need to change the educational system. Instead of teaching mathematics and all of this other stuff, of course, you need your basic fundamentals of math and of reading. That way we can get around and still live in the matrix if we choose to. But if you teach people how to grow their own food, how to siphon their own water, how to build all the things that they took out of the schools, which is the trades, and you start putting this in homeschooling and teaching this to the children, this will change the whole entire interaction between us and our environment.
Wow. It is so deep, because as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about when I was a kid, like, my grandparents, I spent a lot of summers with my grandparents.
That's powerful.
And farm.
We lack that in this generation.
Yeah.
We lack the grandparents.
Every summer, 3-4 months with my grandparents, fishing. I drove the tractor.
You see what I'm saying?
We tilled the land.
You see what I'm saying?
Bro, honestly, you blowing my mind. I didn't realize how gifted that experience was, because we had corn, we had okra, we had our own tomatoes, our own watermelon, we had our own green beans, field peas, black eye. Like I'm bugging, like, because I used to say to my grandmother, why can't we go to the supermarket? She said, well, for what?
Yeah.
We only going for supplies.
Yeah. Supermarket in the backyard. the freedom in that. The
It's
feeling
crazy.
in that. And that's how you mold and shape the minds of your children, not only just for health, but for generational wealth. Right. Because it's a difference to going to a grocery store and realizing and seeing somebody else's last name on that grocery store, but then going to your grandma's and your grandpa's backyard and you got the same last name as them. Yes. And you get to pick your groceries from the yard and property that you own. That is a total different feeling, Yeah. And if you look at all of these different shops, and if you look at all of these different logos, these are other people's names, and we're buying and exchanging with other people. But if you look at our people and our community and what we doing, we don't own anything. So man, moment of silence to your grandmother and your grandfather for even putting you in that type of position, because that mold and structured your DNA and your dendrites of your brain to even give you a sense of ownership. Doing that right now is probably why you build today. Seriously, because they installed something in you that you probably didn't even know that was going to come out later in life, man. Bro. So moment of silence real quick for them. Seriously. Ashe.
Oh man, I knew meeting you was purposeful. I knew you coming here was going to electrify me. And like the most common thing that people say about me is, damn, Bill, how you look the same? Yeah, you
look good, man. You look the same, bro.
Right. That's what everybody says. But I was on the nutrition path a long time ago. Like, I wasn't as savvy as you. I'm not an herbalist and all that, but I was like, yo, man, I'm getting down with these blueberries. Yeah. I'm getting down with these mangoes. Yeah. I'm getting down with these peaches. I'm getting down with, watermelon. Like watermelon, people don't realize is such a great fruit for us.
It's one of the best fruits. And what's crazy is if you look at you have something called melanin, or what everybody call melanin. It's really called melanin. Then you have watermelon or watermelanin. Right. And if you look at the pigmentation of watermelon, or you just look at the pigmentation of the blueberries you was talking about, each different color connects with the spectrum of what they would call the electrical magnetic radiation frequency of the sun, and it feeds these foods different types of phytonutrients that rebuilds, or what you would call our molecular structure. For instance, watermelon have something called lycopene in it, and that's what makes it red. Same thing for tomatoes, same thing for the figs, same thing for oranges. This is called lycopene. Lycopene is nothing but melanin of watermelons. And if you look at a blueberry, a blackberry, they have a melanin content in it, or what you would call chromophores.
Okay.
All right, chromophores. It's just the melanin of these different fruits called anthocyanins. And if you start looking at these different colors and pigmentations, they actually have a frequency to them. And this frequency raises your vibrational hertz of your body, and it keeps you operating in basically, because we all are God. We are self-reflecting mirrors and images of God. That's why if you read in the scriptures, it says that we were made after his image and after his likeness. Well, if you look at that, we have those same type of reflections in us, and in order to reach those heights, though, you have to vibrate at a certain frequency. Tell me why when you eat fruits, they bring you to that frequency.
Bro,
Every fruit have
You've never
a
lied.
angstroms of energy. So for instance, if you look at fruits, they vibrate and they yield literally 12,000 angstroms of energy when you eat every 10 units of their fruit. When you do vegetables, they yield 9,000 angstroms of energy every time you eat that vegetable, 10 units of that vegetable. When you get down to meat and things and beans and stuff like that, and grains, just very, very what you would call thick, gooey types of stuff, dense food, 3,000 angstroms of energy. So 3 all the way up to 9, you done skip. That's 6,000, 600,000. Because remember, every time you go up, you have to go 10. Then from the 10, you got to go 100. From the 100, you got to go 1,000.
Wow.
From the 1,000, you got to go 10. Just like in math. So we literally talking about hundreds of thousands of angstroms of energy over the actual meats and over the corn and over these heavy, dense foods, when you can just eat light and keep that vibrational energy. And the good thing about fruits and vegetables, not only do you build the molecular structure when you eat them, because they replace all the things that you're getting rid of anyway through that recycling that we go through, or what they call cellular mitosis or cellular meiosis or apoptosis, all these big old words. we can just keep it simple.
right.
You're not only replacing the cellular structure, but you're feeding the soul. And a lot of people don't know how to feed the spirit and the soul. A lot of people are just feeding their flesh. But when you feed your spirit and your soul, it does something to you. It energizes you. Wow. It makes you think more. It makes you become an actual critical thinker. It makes you think about yourself. You start looking around and you want to do more for your environment. Fruit did that to me. Meat never did that to me. Dairy products never did that to me. Correct. Drugs, drinking and smoking never did that. What's crazy is this. I have metal from here to here. I've been shot 4 times. I had my ribs broke. I had my jaw dislocated and fractured. I've been shot 4 times. I've been stabbed right here. I almost died of eternal bleeding. Like, and the reason why I say eternal is because we are eternal people. A lot of people say internal. But I went through all of that. I used to be like really a hater for my brother. You know, if I see my brother wearing the wrong thing, or he in my hood doing things that I ain't tell him to do, it wasn't my hood in the first place. Right. Like, I'll be ready to be violent. I was a very violent person against people that look just like me. Did you know after I went vegan, or what I'm gonna say plant-based, man, I ran over a squirrel one day on an accident. Man, I pulled over and cried, man. Same person that used to be fighting, brawling, getting stabbed. I'm talking about spilling blood. I'm a very vicious person to my brother. Man, I went vegan, went plant-based. Man, I hit a squirrel. Man, it broke my heart.
Because you, the thing about that, we can laugh, but in reality, what you're saying is you found a different purpose.
I really did through the food, man. Through the food, showing you that food is psychological. It's psychology, and you can tell. You can sit somebody down in front of me, right? And they can tell me they diseases, and I'm talking about to the T. I can tell you what they've been eating. I can tell you what they've been eating. Soon as they say I got diabetes, I can tell you, oh, okay, you've been on dark meat. Soon they tell me I got breast cancer. Oh, you've been on inorganic meat. You've been on inorganic fruits and vegetables. You eat a lot of dairy products. That's a lot of lactic acid built up. That's a lot of carbonic acid, uric acid built up. You suffering from metabolic acidosis from your diet. Oh, I'm schizophrenic. Oh, your gut is messed up from the foods you eating. You're going through putrefaction in your gut. You have parasites, probably toxoplasma that done passed the blood and brain barrier that you got from your fish. So all of these different type of psychological ailments that we are suffering from, and all these different physical ailments that we suffering from, is literally coming from the food that is being put in the communities by the big food industry. But when you start really studying the big food industry and who owns them, they're actually controlled by the pharmaceutical companies. So it's this rat race, or this cycle, or this matrix that we're going through. Let's feed them the food to get them sick. Once they get sick, let's provide them the antidote to make them sicker. Once we provide them the antidote that make them sicker, let them die. And we can make money off their insurance. We can make money off their death. You see that? And our whole population control eugenics program will still be in full effect, because the whole thing is to eliminate 2/3 of this earth. That's the whole plan. And we have, and this stuff is in the documents. These people are saying it themselves, like your Bill Gates, your Henry Kissingers, your DuPonts. You start looking this stuff up, it's in there. They're not even hiding it from us, but we so sedated off of their medicine, or what I like to call witchcraft potions, that they call pharmaceuticals and foods, because now I equivalate pharmaceutical drugs and big food industry foods. It's the same thing. It's all a drug, and it all have deadly side effects to it.
Correct.
Once we get off that and we detoxify, we're able to get our consciousness back. And one thing about a black man and a black woman that's conscious, they cannot be stopped. And that's the whole thing. The whole thing was to deindustrialize the schools. It was to break up the black family, snatch the black man out of the household, feed them all of these corruptible foods, take them away from the sun, put them in 9-to-5 buildings, away from the light, because we are children of the sun. Being in the sun heals you yourself. That's how amazing
bro,
the sun is.
I love the sun, bro.